Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing a short tutorial on how I did my makeup for this fantasy look for a photo shoot that I did in New Mexico with Lauten Shipman. As I'm doing this audio, I would like to note that I am now already set up for my schooling in LA, so I am starting to struggle with some new challenges of background noises and working with very little equipment, so bear with me as I try to figure out my newer surroundings and my film. So to start with today, I already had my base on and I am using a white foundation mixer from NYX and I'm using that to highlight out. I put it on my cheekbones, my chin, and the nose area, as well as put a triangle on my forehead to kind of mimic where I thought some of my fawn shapes may come in. This makeup was special to me because I wanted to make something that looked very fey and very ethereal. I did not want something to look too animalistic, and I did not want it to look too human either. I wanted it to stay right in the middle. So here I'm starting to go in with a contour. I'm using a warm tone from my NYX Butt Naked palette and placing that directly under my cheekbones and drawing it straight down my face. I want this to come toward my lips so that it gives my face an angled shape. I'm also going and shading in around my lip line with some light pinks that I want to kind of make the lips look less defined and more blushy, because I'm going to go in with lots of blush all over my face. Speaking of, here I am taking my first couple layers of that blush tone. I'm taking it across the bridge of my nose and across my cheeks. I'm going to be layering more and more of it as we go so that it doesn't just look like sunburn, which is where we're at right now. I'm also taking that color onto my neck and onto my chest. Going into my eyebrows, I'm starting by outlining the bottom first, then filling in the center and tapering off closest to the nose so that I get a nice light taper, and blending that all out. This is more or less the way I fairly often do my eyebrows. So the next thing that I did was start drawing the outline of where I wanted my eyes to be. I did want my eyes to look very, very large, and I did this by combining both my makeup and the contacts that I used, which you'll see later in this video. So I overdrew my eyes by taking that line above my natural crease and then taking the dark line below where my waterline or eyeliner would usually sit. Getting stuck on my words. And then on the lid itself and in the space between my lash line and that lower line that I made, I'm dabbing in a white foundation and then setting that with a white eyeshadow powder as well. To get this look as deep as I wanted it to, I did a lot of layering. So I went back in with that dark brown and lined again and then blended out, and I was doing this with a couple of dark brown colors as well as some black at the very end to just really define the eyes and create that three-dimensional look. Next, I went in with a liquid shadow from Stila, and I'm dabbing that in all the way across my lids. I really liked how magical this made the makeup look, and it had some light purple tones in it that I felt matched my costume really, really well. I also used a small dab of it on my Cupid's bow just below my bottom lip, and then I went in and put it in my collarbone to just exaggerate everything out, and then blended that out by tapping it with my fingers, much like I did on my eyelids. Next, I went in with some freckles. I'm using a cream body paint from Makeup Forever and a small brush and dotting these in. I've seen a lot of deer that have big exaggerated freckles to look like baby deer, like fawn, and I didn't quite want that. I wanted it to have some of those fawn-like feels with the white speckles, but I wanted it to be placed on my face more like natural freckles would be on a person. So as I placed them, I then used my finger to blend them out, pick them up and replace them so that I would get a nice blended freckle effect. I also brought these freckles down onto my chest and shoulders. Again, I wanted them to be placed much like they would be if they were natural freckles on an actual person, so I made sure to drag them all the way through. I went back in and layered more blush. I felt like it needed to be darker and have some more vibrancy if I really wanted that fey effect. I also wanted to make sure that I was putting blush on top of and underneath the freckles. I go in a couple more times in this video and continue adding pink. So for this next step, I decided I wanted a little bit more defined lines as well. So I went in with a black liquid liner from NYX Cosmetics, and I lined my crease as well as gave myself a large exaggerated wing around that shape that I had already carved out for myself. Next, I went in and drew some small lines underneath, almost like bottom lashes coming off of the bottom of the wing. I also decided to go into the corners of my eyes and draw some inner wings as well. Next, I went in with a dark shadow and packed shadow into the new line that I created to make it kind of ombre out and blend into the rest of the eye makeup. With an angled fluffy brush, I went back in with that pink just like I referenced earlier, and I started packing that pink on really heavy on my nose, my cheekbones, and just underneath my drawn eyeline. I wanted to pack it in really heavy and really give that fantasy feel to this makeup. For the lip shade, I picked something pretty neutral that wasn't all that exciting. I didn't want to distract too much from the rest of the look, and I still wanted to put a dark upper lip, which will come next, as well as the nose on, and I didn't want anything too bold to distract from that. I shaded with dark browns on my nose so that when I drew in my lines, they wouldn't be too harsh or look too much like face paint. I wanted everything to have this really nice soft glow to it, so I made sure to kind of glow around all of my drawn in pieces. Since I was adding quite a bit more pink, I decided to also go darker into my contour. Next was the nose and the lip line. I'm using that same liquid liner and I'm lining my upper lip. I did kind of get rid of my Cupid's bow. I don't have it as much there. I decided to go a little bit more animalistic in the shape. And then I have the line drawn up to my nose, and I'm going to outline the deer nose as well. One of the important parts of making this look like an animal nose is making sure I get in the edge of my human nose and darken it out so it doesn't look like nostrils. I then went in with blacks and browns, patting in the rest of the nose and blending out the edges so that I get a soft edge and not a harsh line. I am darkening that upper lip as well as blending out that line so that it doesn't look so harsh. I did leave that little spark of Stila highlight right on the bow, and that's the finished look. Now we add shoes, contacts, and lashes. Overall, I was really happy with this look. I cannot wait for images to come back. I really like the way that the eye makeup made the contacts and my eyes look just huge and very inhuman. If you like this video, please go like, subscribe, and don't forget to check out my Patreon as well.